What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Boxing, aka MKO Pugilism, where we talk all things box. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and give me a follow on TikTok, all the good stuff. So let's get into it. So it's now fight week, the Monday of fight week for this kind of circus fight, I suppose you can call it, between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. And yeah, they've been ramping up the content. There's sort of a face off between the two of them, long interview with rapper Cameron, who those of you who are hip hop heads will know who Cameron is from Harlem, New York, one of the very famous guys from yeah, he's been going back decades, man, since late 90s, I believe. But anyway, yeah, so they've been ramping it all up. And as we go into this fight week, I just want to briefly touch on a few things about people saying it's fixed, and also just touch upon a prediction, my sort of prediction for it. And I think, to be quite frank with you, it will be a predictable prediction. So, yeah, going into this over the weeks since it's been announced, a lot of people have been talking about, oh, this is a fixed fight, fixed outcome sort of thing. And, they believe Jake Paul's somehow fixing it and fiddling with things. Me personally, I don't believe it's a fixed fight. And that's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, if it were a fixed outcome, it would actually be a criminal offense. It would be a crime to do that because, on paper, it's actually sanctioned by the Florida Commission. So, with it being sanctioned by the Professional Boxing Commission, for you to have a fixed outcome before the fight starts, before the first bell rings, that would be a criminal offense. And I don't see why Anthony Joshua or Jake Paul, for that matter, would engage in, sort of criminal activity. Would it be worth it? I don't think so. Second reason I don't believe it's fixed is because Anthony Joshua is a multi millionaire. He's got generational wealth. I don't know whether he's richer than Jake Paul or not, but maybe he is, maybe he isn't, whatever. But he's one of the top draws, one of the top earners in sports period, and especially in boxing. He's got to be one of the top three earners. I think it's either him or Canelo. Tyson Fury's up there as well. But as far as earnings from boxing, Anthony Joshua he's one of the top dogs. So he's not in need of money. He's not like a desperate fighter that's washed up and that needs money. You could say he's washed up in terms of where he is in his career, but as far as financially, he's got generational wealth. He does not need the money. So you could maybe make an argument if Joshua was struggling financially, if he was broke and he needed this, but he doesn't need this. He doesn't need this fight. He was planning to fight anyway, and it's almost like giving him free money. And thirdly, the third reason why, for me, I don't believe it's a fixed fight is because it would be career suicide for Anthony Joshua to engage in such a thing, because at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua, his reputation is, with some people at least, kind of in tatters at this point in time, because the last thing I remember, because I was there live, watching him versus Daniel Dubois, and the last thing we remember, the last thing we've seen of him in a boxing ring is him getting KO'd by Daniel Dubois. So for him to then step into a fixed fight against Jake Paul and get beaten on points or get KO'd by a YouTuber would just it would mean he would just have to retire straight away, because you there would just literally be no coming back from that. If he loses or he does badly, performs badly, or even if he goes to points against Jake Paul, it's career suicide for Anthony Joshua. So the idea that, oh, he's going to enter into a fight, fixed outcome for whatever amount of money, lose to Jake Paul, that sort of thing for Anthony Joshua would make him lose all the respect that he has. People like myself who respect him, and others who may respect him, whatever you feel about him, whatever respect he has left will be gone. It would literally be career suicide if he was to enter a fixed fight and lose here against Jake Paul. You know, however it happens. So for those reasons, for me, I don't think it's a fixed outcome. As far as predictions go, I believe Anthony Joshua ends this fight quite early. I think he's going to end it in about, I want to say, round 3. I think Anthony Joshua knocks Jake Paul out in round 3. I don't rule out it being earlier. I think it could be earlier. It could be round 1. It could be as early as round 1, because the power of Joshua and the skill and the precision, and he's pretty quick for a big boy, and it's just like the minute he lands on Jake Paul, it could be the first 1-2, full-blooded 1-2 could take him out in round 1. But I'm predicting that somehow Jake Paul runs around and scurries about and somehow makes it to round 3. I don't know how, but I think that's where it all goes Pete Tong. It all goes belly up for him, and he gets KO'd, probably knocked out, knocked Spark out. But if he's lucky, the referee will step in and stop it. I see it being around sort of the 3rd, because I think Anthony Joshua is going to sort of feel him out a little bit. I think Joshua is going to feel him out for a couple of rounds, and then be 100% certain of everything, get the timing down, and just take him out in about round 3. I think he's going to take his time with this, Anthony Joshua. I don't think he's going to run into him. I don't think he's going to sort of steam straight into him and knock him out straight away. I think he's actually going to box a little bit, and he's going to work on sort of countering Jake Paul and capitalizing on Jake Paul's mistakes, which there are many mistakes. But I think, yeah, you're looking at very early in the fight, around the 3rd round. But as I said, if Joshua lands a full-blooded 1-2 within the 1st round, probably that ends it too. So it could even be as early as the 1st. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Early knockout for Anthony Joshua, and that's because the gap in skill, class, experience, and punch power, it's just going to be far too much. It's a grotesque mismatch of epic proportions. It's such a mismatch that is ridiculous. So it will not go very long. And Joshua just punches way too hard, and he's just too skilled and just too way too accurate for a guy like Jake Paul. And I think Jake Paul, going into it, he's very confident, but he's also very delusional. And I think his thing is why he's going around so confident and making people think, oh, has he got something? Is because he's just delusional. He's on his own, he believes his own hype. He's made a fortune, he's made a bucket load of money, and he's got that type of money and that type of influence and fame where he can kind of just do whatever he wants. And, in his own head, he's a Superman. And I think what's going to happen on Friday night is that he's going to just Anthony Joshua is going to give him the reality check and just bring him crashing down to earth. I think that's what happens. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.